Oh, what's up, demons and demons? It is I, Attracty Demon Queen, and it's a case of a better late than never. But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below. Today we're finally going to talk about Valka. That's because we have about a week left on her banner, maybe a little bit less at this point. And you're probably wondering, oh, Traxy hasn't done a video. Should I pull? What is everybody else saying? Is she any good? So I'm just gonna make it quick and simple, just because we don't have much time on her banner left, and I've just been hesitant in general to do a review on her, because she was not overall good in the game when she released, and I'd have some difficulty in finding some spots for her. So let's talk about some of her abilities. Alright, we have a Phantom Slasher. Passive, Valka applies a stack of panic to the enemy. Once you get 4 stacks, puts them in a panic state for 10 seconds, and they lose 10 haste. She can only use her ult, Blooming Terror, on enemy heroes in the panic state. It does 2 attacks for true damage equal to 6% of the target's max HP, up to a max of 400 for her, and it does some healing. Then it does a third and final sing for 12%, and again up to 400%. She's unaffected while casting this ability, and as you can see, it just increases with a level, and she has 1,000 starting energy. Why is the 1,000 starting energy important when she's only really using her energy during a Blooming Terror? Well, she's not. So her main ability, Death Illuminate Scheme, Valka refines her combat skills and masters new sword techniques as she levels up. Each sword technique is considered a normal attack with its own cooldown. So we have Master Soul Slicer. When there is more than one adjacent enemy, consumes 300 energy, so that 1,000 energy at the start is important. She delivers 2 slashes, so she does like an AoE attack. And then she has a Wrecking Ball. When there's only one adjacent enemy, 300. She does a different attack for 140, and then she leaps into the air and does a heavier hit, and then stuns for 1 second, so it's a knockdown. Relentless Chase when there are no adjacent enemies. So this is pretty much at the beginning of battle. She's going to do this ability. Consumes 150 energy and roll towards. So this actually works as a charge, right? So she's going to charge right over to your enemies. Alright, and then level 4 increase the damage of the different abilities. Alright, so Spectral Bulwark at the start of battle should gain a shield depending on the number of allies around her. Up to a maximum of 720, so that would be, you want at least 3 allies around her for maximum shielding. However, it's important to note that she is going to increase the attack speed of these allies by 50 plus skill power, and then it's just going to increase over time. Hero Focus, it just gives increased attack speed. Her Shell Shock Riptos, which is her EX weapon, upon taking ultimate skill damage from the enemy within her attack range, Valka instantly blocks the attack and becomes immune to damage. She then casts Blooming Terror on that target and gets 250 energy back. And then just as you level it up, it just increases the energy. And then at 10, it gives increased attack speed and some life drain. And then at 15, it gives the increased energy. And then lastly, her Enhanced Force at S+, while she has Spectral Bulwark, she gets 50 extra energy from launching normal attacks. It's not overly crazy. This is kind of nice, the blocking the ultimate skill damage. It's nice for bosses and stuff when they do their ults. She won't take damage from that, or somebody like a Dio or something like that in Arena. Those big bursty heroes that have that big bursty ult, she's not going to kind of like take damage. She's going to counter it. Not quite like a Lily May counters or like a Dunlinger counters, but it's kind of like, oh, I immune the ult, and then I go do stuff. Alright, so let's talk about some things first, and where she's useful. So she's not very useful in stages that I found, at least not at high deficit pushing. I used her on all of 1 stage, and we're already on 1259 at this point. So we've been pushing pretty steadily, pretty regularly, not really getting used much there. A Dream Realm, she consistently seems to be the second best options, not overall the best option there, it's just not good. We didn't use her. I didn't even test her on a Lone Gaze. I just didn't really get a chance. We were too busy testing a Kaelin. I did test her on some other bosses. I thought perhaps she would be good on Stomper here, but as you can see, she just fell short of the current meta. If anything, we're replacing her with either like a Rainer in this case to do a little bit more damage, or with the twins. So if you don't have the twins, maybe she might be a better option for you, but overall, if we look at like our #1 squad here, she's doing the most damage. Now, we didn't really get to use her on Crystal Beetle because she's not really a pre-endless hero, and the reason why she's not a pre-endless hero is because she has that percentage damage, and she's a physical damage dealer, right? So she only is really good for these big bosses and endless. But as you can see, even here, she's maybe a second best option compared to just some of the other squads. And in this case, we're just replacing Sonya. So maybe if you don't have Sonya, maybe if you don't have the twins, and you need to build up somebody to help out your team. Right now, that's a banner. Right now, she is not a bad option. She's just not the best option, right? So you may want to wait for a better hero to come along in that regards. PvP, I have mixed feelings. I finally got to do actually an attack, so I stuck her in a squad that was kind of geared more towards her, right? So we ran a Reborn squad here. Not the best squad in the world. You can see she does take a decent amount of damage thanks to her shield, and we can check her out in action. Alright, so our team gets vacuumed, but then she charges immediately out. So she's kind of like, the best thing I could compare her to in other games is what we would call an off tank, right? So she's not like a main tank, she's not like Thorin, she's not like a Freyasto. She's more like a Brutus in that regards, right? Where she just kind of like is the off tank, and that's just because of her shield. If you're wondering why I'm down in third, I just did some swapping with one of my guildies here, just to get them some extra rewards. Alright. So, if we take a look at a regular... No, we didn't do... Legend Trial, she's pretty good here. You're going to see her in quite a few of those tier records. She is a nice addition because she does kind of like work like a dollar store value version of Sonya, so I can't clear this stage. I don't have enough in Graveborn, so I'm having some damage issues. But as you can see, you're gonna see her in quite a few of these clear records. I've been using her quite a bit here, so she works nicely here, but can't say, hey, pull this hero because they work nicely in Legend Trial. You could just wait it out and get higher there. Where I do think she plays a nice role is right now, we have the Grim Executioner. He's immune to physical damage for the most part, so we're kind of lacking that third team, because typically we run like a magic team, and we don't really have like a great third magic team. So what a lot of people have been doing have been using a Valka, right? So if we go down here, maybe we go down to like one of my other records, we can see the Valka team that is doing a pretty decent damage. That is kind of like our third team, right? We're just trying to like average out a really good score, so we're just using her on the third team. So as you can see, we're running here with Brian, Haywin, Parisa, and Rainer, right? So we got a pretty decent team here. We get 44 out of it, or 43 depending on RNG. This is actually a different version of the team that you can run with a Lily and Citrona. That's a little bit more popular, so you can move your Rainer around and get what we're seeing as like the uber big team. It just didn't work well for me, but hey, she's nice on the battle drills, but can you basically just pull a hero off battle drill? The answer is no. So I would say at this point she's kind of a nice to have. I do like her a little bit for PvP. I have been using her in Crystal Clash, and we did have the Ember Revelry. So I've been using her here quite a bit just to kind of like test out, because I can fight lesser teams, right? So here we have maybe like only like Paragon 1. We have a typical, you know, a Lily May, a stall, so we could run something, we would run
A familiar
Valka. She's going to kind of
battlefield.
be like our front liner. We're gonna run, I don't know if we want to run Igor necessarily against this, but we could run something like this, right? So we get one, two, three, and then we maybe throw in like a Viperium, because I like him for the energy drain. And then we need another hero. Maybe we throw in a, maybe we throw in our own Scarlita, right? So we could do something like this. And then, so she's gonna act as a frontline hero. She's gonna hit up against Thorin, so we'll see how it goes.
A victory worth celebrating.
Alright, so now we can kind of like see her abilities. So I think she's good for PvP again if you want like a second tank on your team, you want like an off tanky type character, or you need some death added to your roster when you're running events like a Crystal Clash, or maybe you want someone kind of tanky, kind of beefy on like a Supreme Arena. Maybe you want to use a team that's good counter control. I think Valka and like with the Graveborn team kind of works as a counter control team. She adds that extra, so you throw like your Valka, your Igor, your Viperian, maybe a healer like a Ludovic or somebody else to counter those control teams. So she's kind of nice there. She can kind of like fill that role in that maybe like third team, or if you need like a fourth or fifth team. I've been using her a lot in Crystal Clash, in a Graveborn team that's been pretty effective. Maybe we could demo that team here. It's just easy way to demo teams right now is really this event, right? So we have just like a kind of control team. So again, we're not gonna run Scarlita in that case. We would just run our Igor, right? So again, we have something like this. We could throw, so that's 1, 2, 3. We could throw Igor here, and then we've got the 3 heroes surrounding her for the maximum shield, and she's going to get the attack bonus. Now, as you can see, they get vacuumed, but it doesn't really affect them all that much. So they're not really a team that's vulnerable to control. So it's a very nice counter control team, which you may still be seeing in your Supreme Arena. So I think she's a really good there. So overall, I was really high on her at one point, then I was really down on her, because it looked like, oh, maybe she was a skip, then maybe she was a must-have. But I think at this point in time, she's kind of just a nice to have. Like, right, you don't need her. You can certainly get by without her on the roster. She's someone I really liked because I really liked her in the storyline. I thought she was fantastic there, and I was really excited to get her. But again, she was an A-tier hero, and we just got Bonnie, who is probably the best A-tier hero in the game at this time, or at least the most devastating. That's for certain. She's someone that popped up everywhere. It seems she's like a Lily May type, or Bonnie may be that A-tier hero that kind of like usurped Odie as the top of an A-tier hero and what an A-tier hero should be. And that's it for this one. Good luck in your polls. And if you were just kind of like on the fence, again, nice to have, not a must-have by any means. I don't think any of the heroes this season are looking like a must-have, but we'll evaluate each hero as they come out. And that's it for this one. Bye!